Being a sneakerhead can be lonely. It's usually you, all the else that you collected, and the websites like Sneakers, like Goat, like StockX, who are trying to profiteer on your desire to cop those favorite shoes. In comes a website like SoleSavy that promises to get you together with the like-minded individuals from all over the world and help you get those sought-after shoes at the retail price. Spoiler alert, it does work, but as with any other service, there are a few other considerations that you have to keep in mind when you're making a decision where to spend your hard-earned dollars. Welcome to the TohirT channel. My name is Tahir, and today I'm talking about SoleSavy and whether its promise to help you get those Travis Scotts, those J Balvins, those Yeezys of the world at the retail price actually comes to fruition. Let's do this! SoleSavy is a community-based business with thousands of sneakerheads separated in their own individual communities, working together to get their favorite shoes, their grails as they would call them. SoleSavy stands against the resale market, against all of those botters, all of those people who use the tools to get thousands of pairs of shoes at the retail and then sell them to us, passionate individuals, at the twice, 3 times, sometimes 10 times the surcharge. I'll let Dejan, Pralica, the co-founder and the CEO of the company, give you his elevator pitch about the community, and then for the rest of the video I'll focus on my experience based on now almost 2+ months with SoleSavy.
A platform that allows our customers to buy product for retail and not pay any premiums for it, while also engaging in community and building connections with other people who have a similar interest as them. The industry doesn't have to be about resale. It doesn't have to be about nickel and diming customers and charging them premiums. It can be about the culture. It can be about the people. We're not here to resell product. We're here to help you buy product for retail.
Today, the business of SoleSavy is split into 2 separate worlds. One of them is the app. On that app, you get to consume the content the SoleSavy produces because they do not only want you to buy the sneakers, they actually want to help you learn more about the industry in not that constantly view-driven world. They actually want you to get better in understanding the world that you're passionate about. They have their podcasts, their news articles, they talk through different launches and where and how to find your favorite sneakers, as well as there's a member store on the app that allows you to buy some of those shoes that are no longer listed on Nikes and Adidas of the world still at the retail price. The second half of SoleSavy's world is in Slack. They leverage Slack, the messaging platform, to create those communities of about thousands or so individuals all bundled together talking about the sneakers, the passion for the streetwear, the passion for some of the other topics that they can discuss, as well as all the other benefits and features that SoleSavy embeds into Slack as a way to help us cop those shoes. I'll talk about them in a second, but as a non-paying member, if you want to check out either of those two, you can freely browse the app today. You can actually consume some of the articles and kind of like get the preview of what the paid members actually get to enjoy, but you cannot access the Slack and you have to be premium member in order for you to be able to partake in some of these discussions and, more importantly, leverage that community of like-minded individuals. Now, fair question is, Tahir, you spoke about all of this fun stuff, but how does that help me get those Yeezys? How does it help me get those Travis Scotts on the release date at the promised retail price? Well, now it's time for us to talk about some of those benefits and features that SoleSavy brings to the table.
SoleSavy, the exclusive sneaker community.
Starting with probably the reason why you clicked on this video in the first place. The way SoleSavy gets you to buy those sought-after shoes at the retail prices, they provide you with the tools and the training to get ahead of everyone else on the marketplace. The way they do that is they embed special monitors within Slack that continuously keep you up to date on when the new listing of shoes go on Nikes, Adidas of the world, but also they leverage the connection to the boutique stores like Jimmy Jazz, Kith, Shoe Palace. They provide you with that intelligence and constantly keep you up to date the moment the listing of your favorite shoe goes up on one of those stores. They also track additional features and tools going up live on those websites, because if there is a bot protection turned on a particular website, say Kith, you know that Kith is about to drop some heat. The training comes into play because today SoleSavy doesn't have some sort of special, their own proprietary bots that help you get ahead of everyone and purchase those shoes. You still have to go through the motions of going to the store, locating the SKU, adding it to the cart, checking out, hitting that pay now button, and hope that your order comes through and you get to receive those shoes. The way SoleSavy does it is that they help you shove off those precious seconds of your time. And today, after consuming some of the content, the video tutorials, reading some of the stuff, talking to the members, and attending the live webinar, I can now go through the entire sequence of the checkout from the moment of the shoe going live to the moment of hitting that Pay Now button in 30 seconds or less. This is how efficient they are at shaving off those seconds of your time. You have to be under 30 seconds with that process because you get to jump ahead of all the amateur buyers and, more importantly, ahead of all of those resellers who are using the bots and racing against the time with you towards that shoe.
SoleSavy, the exclusive sneaker community.
Can you study some of these methods that SoleSavy provides? Yeah, you can find them for free, but they provide you with those monitors, the intelligence, and the pre-cart links that allow you to click on a single link and add the shoe that you really wanted in the size that you wanted straight to your cart. And they help you prepare for that moment when your shoe lands in that cart so you can go through that entire checkout in under 30 seconds. That level of intelligence and a constant stream of updates coming from the team at the SoleSavy is so important. You know where the shoe is about to drop, around what time, how many will they have in stock, what kind of things you have to be aware of, like captchas that you have to fill out, the security passwords you might have to solve, the raffles that are going online that might help you get ahead of everyone else and purchase those sneakers. Before joining SoleSavy, I knew about the sneakers app, I knew about the Nike store, Adidas store, and I knew about maybe the Foot Locker. Now I have a dozen plus of different stores where I know you'll get those major drops. I know what kind of stores process the orders in what ways. So that level of intelligence is unprecedented. The education that they provide is unprecedented and speaks to core values that Dejan, their co-founder, speaks about in the next segment.
I think I even undervalued what community means to people and how big of a part that is to our core business model and our growth.
Community is the key to success behind SoleSavy. That group of like-minded individuals who are all passionate about the topic, all want to enjoy those sneakers and buy them at the retail, get together and continuously work on improving their own skills. On top of that, SoleSavy provides special channels to trade with the members at the retail price, to sell items to the members at the retail price. I bought now 2 shoes, or about to buy the second pair of shoes from the members on the store, and I enjoy the fact that those are rare shoes that I would otherwise have to go and pay extra $100, $200 on the resale market. The assist group is an amazing idea and very rare to find in what I called at the top of this video the lonely world of sneakerheads who constantly have to compete with each other. Here, SoleSavy creates the community and changes a little bit the mindset towards assisting each other. If you are not interested in a sneaker that is about to drop but is super hyped and there's someone else who really wants them, you can jump in and help them get that sneaker. I had 4 people helping me get the Travis Scott shoes. Can you imagine the situation in the real world that you were able to convince 4 other sneakerheads who really know the marketplace? It's not your mother who just have to go and fill out the form. Those are actual people who know exactly where to go and what to do and how fast they need to do it to help you get one of the hypest releases of this year. That shoe was already at the resale market for $3,000 to $4,000 at the moment when we were all working together to get that shoe for me at the retail price. Like, those guys were not getting paid. They were not getting anything from me besides my gratitude and now help on their future releases. And they were there every step of the way, spending their precious time from their families, assisting me in getting that shoe. No, we did not succeed in getting that shoe, but that's a whole other topic. The bots, the issues in that marketplace that affected the hypest release. I discussed it in this video over here. You can go check it out. When you see the community bonding together over a common goal like that, that drove the value for me home when it comes to why I should be part of the SoleSavy community. And no, it's not all roses and flowers and pretty stories. There are some things we have to discuss when it comes to considerations before you spend your hard-earned money on SoleSavy subscription.
SoleSavy, the exclusive sneaker community.
The first consideration builds on top of my prior point. The community is great. You have those diverse individuals coming from different parts of the world, all passionate, talking about the sneakers, but they all come from different backgrounds. They have different styles of communication, and that creates the ground for potential conflict or drama. It's not big, it's not all across the board that we're all like fighting with each other, but occasionally you do see people kind of like clashing their opinions together, and it happens in written form on Slack. If you've seen this Peele skit, you know how hard it is sometimes to interpret the intonation that the person embeds within their text message, but ultimately all of those conflicts that I've observed been peacefully resolved and we're in a good place. And this is just something that happens when you get those diverse individuals all in the same room talking about the topic that they're really passionate about.
You want to go right now? Huh. Guess I could do that. Okay. Okay, let's go!
Second consideration, it can get expensive. No, not because SoleSavy just goes and upcharges you on some secret fees. They're absolutely great about and transparency about their fee structure. It's all about the fact that they get you so good at buying the shoes that you keep buying them, and all of a sudden you realize how much money you spent on all of those new sneakers. Your personal problem, something you have to manage for, but I would hate to see a member drop off because they just overspent as they got really good at copying those shoes. So just consider the fact that once you join the community, get excited, get some of those couple of releases that you really wanted and was after, but then pace yourself when it comes to the expenses, pace yourself when it comes to what you focus on, spend some time assisting other people, keep that exchange going, because this is ultimately what is required for all of us to be successful as part of the SoleSavy community. I want to spend the remainder of the video talking about some of those things that I know are coming and some of the things I would like to speculate that are coming to SoleSavy community.
SoleSavy, the exclusive sneaker community.
Today, the company mostly teaches you how to adapt to the current flawed state of the industry. They're resellers, they're borders, you have to be fast, you have to be efficient, you have to almost like strategize ahead of every single release. There's a lot of stress involved around navigating that environment, where I'd like to see SoleSavy leading the motion against all of those issues that we now observe in the sneaker industry. Don't get me wrong, it's impressive what SoleSavy was able to achieve with friends and family round, what I suspect, a somewhat recent $2 million seed round, and now just recently announced $12.5 million Series A. That sounds like a lot of money. 14.5 million in total plus is a lot of money to work with. But when you start thinking about all the technological expenses, hiring and expanding the teams, adding some marketing expenses, those 14.5 million will probably blow by you in the next 2 years or so. So this is why those 6 to 12 months period that we're facing right now is so crucial for SoleSavy. And they should be starting with that marketplace to allow the members to cross trade at a retail price. This way we right away undercut the resale market. The websites like StockX and GOAT, who yes provide a great service, but they charge large fees to both sellers and the buyers. They enable the resellers to go and upcharge us 2, 3, 10 times fold for some of those shoes that we want. Where here we have those like-minded individuals all just wanting to trade and share the shoes, and we can leverage that technology that SoleSavy have access to through some of that funding that they acquired to go and better the industry rather than just helping us combat the bots and not necessarily making any move up against them. I also want to see more interchange of information between some of these communities. I'm in community number 10, so there are 9 other communities out there who might possess some information that we do not necessarily see in our younger community, as well as when it comes to back to the trades. I cannot trade right now between the communities. That's why that platform is so important. But once you start thinking about creating that interchange of information, locating and joining some of those communities together and allowing them to trade between each other, now you're talking about things that are beyond what Slack can deliver today. So the team at SoleSavy, their co-founders like Dejan, Justin, they know that they need to move away from Slack and build their own enterprise, most likely grade level software. But when it comes to building new platforms, you have the execution risk because you have to go through, find the right people, build the right code. You have to solve for all the different bugs. And as you go through it, the community have to bear with you through that transition. This is stuff that requires a lot of management attention and that requires a lot of perfect execution. This is why I was saying 14.5 million will not sound that much when you start actually investing into building an entire platform.
SoleSavy, the exclusive sneaker community.
Then you start thinking about the fact that the sneakerhead community as a whole, it has its own limits. There are not that many people who are like crazy passionate about the sneakers and will go and spend $30 a month talking to other like-minded individuals about that industry and helping each other figure it out. You now will have to tap into maybe less hardcore people who are still interested in the sneakers but not necessarily spend as much time as interested, willing to spend $30, almost like you create the light version of the subscription for them. Or you expand beyond just the streetwear and the sneakers and talk about maybe other collectibles, anywhere between the toys, the art, whiskeys, wines of the world, cigars, whatever else people might be into. And that growth is exciting, but it also comes with a risk, because now your community is splintered even further with even more varying degrees of interest, all potentially mashed together, or how would you even mash them together can be an issue. So that again changes the landscape, changes the kind of people you attract, especially as you add some of those additional types of collectibles, and that again distracts the management, and you have to hire for people who'll be able to co-manage some of those communities. And as a whole, when you look together at the entire SoleSavy structure, it should still make sense. This is a challenging puzzle that the team at SoleSavy are solving, I'm sure, today. Finally, you look across the border at some of those technologies, and they're exciting stuff. One of those items I actually was talking to Dejan on Slack about was, for example, the blockchain and some of these exciting things that it brings. For example, being able to verify the potential buyer on your community. So instead of some random person who you found on Slack through SoleSavy, you now have some validity, maybe a public ledger of their collection, something that proves to you that they're a real deal. That kind of public ledger can also help you then leverage the blockchain technology and maybe share some of that information with the Nikes, Adidases of the world, help them and signal them that this is a real buyer, this is not a reseller, this is someone who'll scream at top of the mountain how much they're passionate about your brand as long as you sell them the sneaker, so that then maybe someone like Nike can start prioritizing the SoleSavy members and sell the shoes to them first. I know it's a pipe dream, but this is the kind of things that the SoleSavy have to bring to their community in order to continuously provide the value that justifies the monthly fee. And all of this, as I've mentioned, requires attention, requires a lot of effort, a lot of funding. So this is why I'm so curious to see what this website and this entire community will be 6 to 12 months from now, because I'm pretty confident it's going to be a slightly or entirely different world.
SoleSavy, the exclusive sneaker community.
All in all, I'm a big fan of what SoleSavy stands for. They will have a few things to solve for, but those problems are solvable. The $30 that I'm paying for, I think definitely equates to the savings that I've made by not going resale and actually buying some of these shoes at the retail price. And they still have that community. They have people like myself. I bring 12 plus years of operational experience working in IT industry, working with the media. So I get to go and provide my feedback for free, for paid, whatever they decide to do, as a way to help improve the community. And there are other people out there throughout all of those Savvy Slack groups that continuously provide value, ideate, and essentially work together on making the community itself that SoleSavy create a better place, and with that alleviating that brand to the whole next level. And you know what? As a worst case, you spend a couple of months on SoleSavy, you learned a ton of things, but you decided it's ultimately not for you, you'll probably still leave with a few, maybe at least a couple pairs of shoes that are a lot harder to find at the retail price today, and you get to flex them, you get to enjoy them, you get to, look how pretty they are. Come on, this was worth spending a couple of months with the SoleSavy community, and I'm definitely planning to stick around to probably get a few more.
SoleSavy, the exclusive sneaker community.
Did you hear about SoleSavy before? Do you think you'll join this community? And what are the businesses, passion projects, other hobbies that could leverage a similar kind of business structure that SoleSavy offers? Share your thoughts and ideas in the section below. Big kudos to Chris, Jody, the rest of the WearTesters team who put me on SoleSavy community in the first place. That was one of those rare times when the ad placement worked, and it worked really well. Also, kudos to the entire SoleSavy team. Those guys who are especially in our Slack 10 group, they're amazing, passionate, very thoughtful when it comes to answering some of the questions, some of the basic and sometimes stupid questions that I would ask. Kudos to them. Thank you for making the past 2 months a very positive experience that I really enjoyed, and hopefully that translated through this video. If you're curious to learn about some of those other inspirational individuals, businesses that push the envelope of what that future of all various types of industries would look like, well, I'm here every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video with some of your friends. Here are a couple more videos for you to enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.